my title app on my phone. If I open that in the morning, it's too easy to fall into the news, the email, and then I lost that first 30 minutes of the day that I need to just get my brain centered, caffeinated, wake, stretch out.
Welcome to the Willpower podcast. Okay, Eli, tell me how you're doing today.
Actually having a good day. Sun's out, brisk and cold here in Toronto, but the sun's out and I'm happy.
Can't ask for more. Yeah, it actually was freezing, below freezing here 2 nights ago in Austin. And last weekend we had a whole snowstorm. And yeah, it's nice.
You got snow down there.
We do probably once every other year we get snow.
Right.
And it only lasts about a day or two.
It's been a cold one. There's something blowing through.
Yeah. It was fun though. My dog loved it. She was skating around on the street because they're in my neighborhood. They don't have salt. They don't have plows. So when it snows, it's just there.
They don't know how to drive in the snow.
No, and no one drives. So she could just kind of run around in my neighborhood and there's no, I don't have to worry about anything. And yeah, she loved it. She's slipping and sliding and having a good time.
My daughter just got her driver's license. So I'm just okay, let's go. Time to drive in the snow. Because you got to learn sometime, and now we're gonna go out every day in the snow. Deeper the better.
Just get used to that. Okay, so let's get right into this. A whole idea of connectedness and phones and internet. How often do you pick up your phone on a regular basis? What's your relationship like with it?
I can't say I really count. I mean, I'm picking up my phone frequently. There are times when I put it aside and keep it away from me, and times I leave it behind. But when I'm in my flow, doing business, doing my workday, it's kind of around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you define those periods when you are using it versus when you're not?
When you mean define, am I aware that hey, I'm on a device and I could not be, or I'm on a...
Is it planned out?
Generally, yeah. I mean, I guess from a definition perspective, good question. When I'm in a work frame of mind, I'm using it. I'm using my tools. When I'm at a family moment and I'm using my device, I'm aware. Could I be doing better? When I'm having a personal moment and I'm just there are things that I could be doing for myself and I'm using my phone instead, I'm aware. And then bathroom sleeping, those kinds of situations, I'm aware. Right. And trying to, be mindful. We don't use no phones at the table in our house, but generally, yeah, there are screens all over, man.
It's hard to, you can't really get rid of them.
No, and they want your attention so bad.
So you said something in the beginning of that, which is you use your tools. And this is something I've it's kind of this is the reason I'm building a mobile app, or I built one and I'm, working on it continuously, is because I like the idea of a phone returning to its place as a tool. I think it's the relationship is flipped to where we no longer have phones that work for us. We now work for our phones. How have you redefined that relationship to where your phone is a tool when you're working versus the other way around? So
I've always endeavored to have a healthy relationship with screens. I was very early into tech and I had a marketing agency. So you kind of have some visibility on everything's ones and zeros, which means everything's being captured. And, over 10 or 15 years, you see how platforms have changed, interactions have changed. You see cycles. You see people get more and more drawn in. I never used social media, really. I never liked how it made me feel. So I think that was a big save for me. I have this thing with my phone where I will only allow one menu screen of apps. And because I need my calendar, which takes up this a double row, I only have room for 6 or 7 apps. And so that's how I mindfully, everything else is, and then you slide over the second bar and everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I do it. I just kind of manage what the phone can do. So there's no games on my phone. There's email, there's calendars, there's YouTube. There's a couple different music apps. That's my thing. Your AI this and your streaming radio station that, and That's about all there is. That's all it can do.
Yeah, I feel like reducing what you use your phone for does a lot. So
Mhm.
social media is of course probably the across the board the biggest thing that pulls people into their phones. Like you mentioned, never really feeling drawn to it. How do you help people who do feel that pull and are addicted or semi-addicted or just naturally inclined towards those kind of social interactions?
Well, I just wanna back up for a second, right? So, people are pulled into their phones, but people also go towards their phones to get away from things, right? Like, you can be pulled into something or you can be running away something. And I think it's really important to understand what that root cause is, right? Like, so if you're sitting on the toilet, and on your phone for 45 minutes, but your whole family's at the dinner table, are you on the phone because you are want to be on the phone, or are you just want to not be downstairs with the family? And I'm not asking to judge. I'm asking so that we can ask ourselves hard questions, right? And so I think because sometimes the phone and the experiences on the phone or the device or the gaming screen or the tablet or whatever, that's the challenge. Sometimes the challenge is something else, right? And so just really like, is it a symptom or is it the cause? I think are important. And I think it's also like really important to understand that there are comorbid conditions, right? Some people are just more prone to addictive behavior, or like if you have ADHD, that the dopamine hits, the experience with the device, like can be even more powerful of a pull to you. So, understanding who you are for and understanding your relationship with your phone and everything is kind of the starting point. Um, you don't just kind of like dive right into like, you should use social media less. That's kind of for me, it's the starting point. I can pause there.
Yeah, so if you don't mind going like personal, where do you fall in this? Like when you do feel compelled towards screens, is it a pull or a push or what's kind of the breakdown?
I don't think I'm really running away from stuff too much to use my phone because there isn't so much to do there. I think I'm pulled into stuff like news and things like that. I've noticed in my life that there are some areas where I can have the experience that I was going for from a device, just not for my phone. So, for example, like I love music. I like high resolution audio file, like high res stuff. It like gets tickles my brain because I have ADHD. It gets me pumped up, and so I like to listen to music first thing in the morning to get my day started right. The problem is like my title app on my phone. If I open that in the morning, it's too easy to fall into the news, the email, and then I lost that first 30 minutes of the day that I need to just get my brain centered, caffeinated, wake, stretch out. So I bought myself a dedicated music player, like a high res music player, so that when I come down in the morning, there's just no reason to touch the phone. I can use something else to get myself that experience. So that's kind of one of the ways that I look at the phone and say, because I would go to the gym and I'd spend all this time on my phone, right? Or I'd be like in flow, a workout, and then I get an email or a message or something, whether it was important or not, whether it could wait or not, it just showed up and then I lost my flow. I can't get back into it. But if I have a dedicated dumb music player, it's not like it's on airplane mode and I can turn it back on. You can't do anything but sing to me. So that was, I kind of like look at things at a micro level.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that for sure. The going to the device for some noble purpose, like, oh, I need to do this thing. There's something like legitimately I have to do, and then being pulled in by something else. I think everyone relates to the like being bored, like standing in line or just like having a lull, having one dull moment and then immediately pulling out the phone. And I feel like that's more of a push of I'm
Yes,
uncomfortable with
that's true.
myself, and
That's a
so
good insight.
I'm gonna pull the phone out. How do you deal with those separately?
Yeah, that one I've been thinking about a lot, actually. I didn't think of that till you brought that up. I've been thinking a lot about the commute because I take the subway and the bus. I like listening to music, but, there was a time when there was a lot of chit chat with strangers, a lot of action. And, you take a look around the bus and people are pretty heads down these days. To me, I think that's more a broader kind of reflection on us as a society. Like it's an individual and a group level and people's discomfort with being in like group settings and speaking with other people. I think also people are agitated these days, right? Like life isn't the easiest it's been recently, politically, economically. And so I think people are like a little on edge, retreating into their bubbles. Equally, though, I think people really, there's a desire to want to connect. So, it's these, I mean, talking with people about like seeing if we could create a little bit of a movement on the subway system in Toronto, just to try and think differently about that commute experience. But these are early stage discussions. You know, I have taken last 2 weekends ago, I was taking the bus downtown. I had a solo night. I was going to this brand new pinball place downtown. I was like excited about. And I spent the whole bus ride on the Saturday night without using my phone on purpose. You read all the sights and the sounds and the people. It's like you forget those things exist when you're in a 2x2.
Yeah, I used to do this more, I haven't done this in a while, but just, like, going to breakfast by myself and just, like yeah, same thing, not having the phone, just going and just, like, hanging out, like, seeing other people come and go and enjoying my food or coffee or whatever, but just being more immersed in the moment rather than constantly feeling like I need some other stimulus to kinda, like yeah, I don't even know, to pull me out of it, or for me, the feeling is like this experience could be enhanced if I had something else going on, if I had
Like
a
a
screen to
device.
look at
Yeah.
or a even a book to read, though that's, not as stimulating. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'll be going like I have my notebook, like I'm building a business, right? So when you're doing that, you need to make room for strategy, for creativity. And so I will be I'll be that weird guy at the bar on Thursday night, listening to music, sitting alone at the table with a drink and a pen and a book, making weird scribbly notes to himself. Like I'm that guy more frequently than I'd like to admit. But since certainly it's enjoyable, I wonder what other people think of you, right? Like you
yeah.
can tell by my language, like who's that dude over there? But it is really fun, like really fun.
Yeah, I don't know what people think of it. I feel like there's when I'm alone eating breakfast or alone doing anything, that's usually a group activity. I feel like I am the weird one, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this is weird
that's
of
what I'm
me,"
saying.
but I don't know if like, if I saw someone alone at a diner, I wouldn't think anything of it. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
okay, tell me about the business. Like, how exactly are you going about helping people with this problem, and exactly what is the problem that you're targeting?
Right. So the problem that we're targeting specifically is that many people wish they had what they would probably decide for to like a healthier relationship with the screens in their lives. Now, whatever that means is different to every person, but people are finding it hard to get there because these screens, they're demanding of their attention. Plus, we have like pretty intimate relationships with them. You sleep with them, you commute with them, like they're there all the time. And so, and people have often who want to make a change have tried and they're not always successful. So there's like a lot of shame and guilt. So we're approaching this problem like in a shame free, guilt free way. I think that's the number one piece. Habit change is really hard. And the way to be successful at it is to start in the right place. Like if you start in the wrong place, if you're over like aggressive about it, your likelihood of failure is pretty substantial. Like if you've never gone to the gym and you decide like I'm going to start going to the gym today and you go crazy and you like lift a whole bunch of stuff and like stay there for hours, you're going to hurt yourself. You're not going back. You're going to be like this didn't work.
Or even, sorry to cut you off, even if you're like, "Oh, I've never gone to the gym, I'm gonna go 7 days a week," and you go for 3
Yep.
weeks and then stop,
And then you stop.
now you're like, "Oh, I'm never going back."
That's right. I like that was crazy. Like that I can't do it. So it's just under so what offline now does in the book, and you'll see when you get it, is it's a very, very simple way to let people identify within 2 questions where they're at. We ask them a motivation question, how motivated are you to change your relationship with, like, your screen or your gaming app or stop doom scrolling before bed, and how self-confident are you in your ability to do it? It's a 2 by 2, so you get kind of low, 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 high, high, low, etcetera. So there's 4 types. Ready, which is highly motivated, highly confident. Overwhelmed, which is highly motivated but low confidence. And then your low, low is stuck. and you're low motivation, high confidence, I don't have a problem, is unconcerned. And so what we're seeing is 51% of people are overwhelmed based on the data on our site. They take this survey, and those are people, they don't have a motivation issue, they have a confidence issue. So when you're working with someone like that, the goal is not to like quit using your phone right away, it's to build confidence, right? So it's a confidence problem, not a willpower problem. They have motivation. So we're just all about trying to figure out ways to help meet you where you're at and build the confidence you have. And that could mean at the very beginning, like, yeah, your phone can stay at the table, but can you turn it upside down for 5 minutes? Right? Can you turn off your ringer for 5 minutes? Can you leave your phone at home, walk out of the house, walk to the end of the block and come back? And then pick it up and do your thing. Like the goal, like if you can do that and you can be successful, do that for 5 days. I'm like, I can do this a little. I can go for a walk around the block now. Now I can go for a 20-minute walk without my phone, right? And so the goal is to kind of build yourself up there. And so that's one way we're doing it. The other thing is, as soon as someone decides that they want to make that change, the entry point is very kind of, you find your four, which type you are, and you start there. But then all of a sudden your need is very, very, very specific, right? Like I have body image issues because I've been like watching Instagram the whole time. I have ADHD. It's really about my kids and not me. My partner and I need to spend more. So all of a sudden it becomes very, very specific. It could be clinical, like I'm depressed and I have anxiety. And so Offline now we're building the world's largest directory of therapists, coaches, and social workers. We got dietitians and kinesiologists in there too, who have, like, you can go search by areas of expertise and coaching skills and clinical skills and find the person, that's got that LinkedIn FOMO work-life balance thing or that online dating rejection relationship stress thing, and then book a meeting and speak to a human about that. Because I think to expect that people can, having used a phone for a decade, that you can just make a change on your own in like 15 minutes because you want to, it gets some help. And I say get them help, I mean like having help is helpful, right? Like having human empathy that's seen this, that does this professionally, has training, is very useful. So that's what we want to do. We want to create a shame-free entry point and connect people with resources along the way.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I'm sure you see this, but I know with a lot of overwhelm in general, like this happens with like eating disorders where especially with binge eating, where people get into a cycle of I do the thing, I feel bad about the thing, I don't know how to fix the thing, and because I have these negative feelings, I do the only thing I know how to cope with them, which is the thing. And so it's like the more overwhelmed you are with screens, I'm sure leads to more screen use because that's the way of numbing these challenging feelings.
Yeah, especially the stuck quadrant, right? Like, so the low motivation, low self-confidence, that's just people can get beaten down. I've tried before. I wasn't able to be successful. There's no point in trying. I'll never be able to do anything. Why would I want to change anyways? But what's interesting is when you meet people that feel that way, you can use strategies to help boost their motivation. Is there a skill you wish you had? Right? Is there a time that you remember you felt good where you weren't stuck like this? What would it feel like to not be, as soon as people can start creating that picture of themselves and increase their motivation, and then you meet them where they're at with confidence building, they can flip very quickly from stuck to ready. So it's not linear, right? Like people can change and quick.
Yeah, I think one other place I relate or I've seen um, is with screen time, like on your phone when you look at
Mm,
your screen time and it's like some crazy number that you wouldn't have guessed.
yeah.
I've seen this with people in my life where it just shuts them off completely, where it's like they don't even want to address it because that number is so much not in the place where they want it to be
Yeah.
that it's like I don't even want to look at this problem.
Yeah, and that coupled with news media that says you should use like 2 hours of Instagram a day max, otherwise your brain's gonna melt, right? It's like, so there's all of these rules and you're like, "Oh my god, I used it for 9 hours." Like, I'm nothing can help me. So there's just so much negative, right? It's like break up with your phone or like digital detox. It's all or nothing. And so what we're just trying to say is there's a healthy balance here. Like if you're an accountant and it's tax season, guess what? You're going to be on your phone for like 6 weeks nonstop. Like that's just life. If you're a lawyer and you're in a busy trial, you're going to be, if you're a student and it's exam time, you're going to be crunched. So, like, forgive yourself for that moment and, you pick your opportunities.
So what about the highly confident, low motivation people? Do you just like, is there anything
Unconcerned.
to do?
Right, the unconcerned. So
Mhm.
unconcerned are low motivation, I don't really need to make a change, and high confidence. If I want to, I can anytime. So that's a unique quadrant. That's a unique type. They're either they've got this, that's who they are for real. And I've met people like that before, right? Like I met a dad at a party and he was like, I feel like I should just be using I feel yeah, yeah, he told me he was unconcerned. And then I asked him to explain his stuff. He's like, I've got two phones. I've got phone for work and I've got a phone for home. And when I come home, the work phone goes away. And then I have my home phone and I barely use it because I don't know how to use an iPhone. I'm like, wow, you shouldn't be so worried. You got this. But then there are the people that are just kind of lying to themselves or not being honest with themselves. So the way you work that type is because they're so self confident that you ask them to give themselves a challenge, a significant challenge. Like, great, you can change anytime you want to. Prove it to yourself. Prove to yourself that you have that level of control. Choose something challenging that makes sense in your life, right? And then evaluate yourself. If you passed, great, then you truly are unconcerned. If you didn't do as well as you thought you were going to do, re-ask yourself the motivation confidence question. Are you maybe in a different place? Good insight that you saw that was the tricky type.
Yeah. I mean, do you even find that many people in that quadrant? Because I'm assuming they're not coming to you looking for
The
help.
data it's low, it's like 3%.
Mhm.
But we're only getting people to the site that want to make a change.
Yeah, that is an interesting one.
But
Like,
you know what? I've seen a lot of people that I meet at parties and events and parents and I'll speak to people and because you can just ask them like, do you mind, scale of 1 to 6, motivated, confident. And a lot of professionals are feeling like they're not so concerned that they're in control. Whether their partner feels that way could be a different story, right? Or their kids feel that way about them is different.
yeah, I feel like there is a lot in the like world of working that people don't realize, like the harms of hyperconnectedness. I don't know if I'm sure you've read Cal Newport, his work, because it's very parallel to this. But yeah, where do you come at things on the work related side? Because you mentioned like an accountant is going to be busier, is going to need to be more connected.
We all have responsibilities. It's a challenging world. It's a challenging economy. People need to make a living. Terminations happening all over the place and people are getting work loaded on them. So it's hard. It's a hard time. Also, if you need to be creative or strategic in your work, you need to make time for it. You can't do that kind of work if you're being interrupted every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. You need stretches of time. And also, in order to perform in general, you need a good night's sleep. You need to have some balance. You need to let your body and your brain recharge and disconnect. So do your teams. So, setting expectations up and down the chain and across, with peers, with coworkers, with bosses, ideally working somewhere where there's a culture where it's okay to disconnect or, take your evenings, you just manage your time effectively. I mean, it's AI can be super useful because you can be way more productive if you use it well, so that can be help getting things done. But it can be very hard in many challenging environments. That's for sure. It's not easy out there.
Yeah, for sure. Another piece is like if you're constantly anxious about messages coming in, it's going to be challenging to
Hmm.
focus on anything, even if there aren't messages, because you're always waiting on something.
Yeah, and then there's the kind of phantom phone ring thing where you think your phone is buzzing. You think your phone is just because it's always in that pocket. You touch that pocket, it's not even there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one for me has been not having my phone in my pocket when I'm at home. I started doing that. And again, like you mentioned, there are like scales, so I don't want to prescribe this, but for me that's been huge. It's been a big game changer in terms of just being present when I'm home because I'm home, a lot of the time. I work from home. And so building that like practice or culture within myself of like when I'm home, my phone stays here. It doesn't come around with me around the house. It's not constantly on my person that has, yeah, that's made a big difference in not always checking it, not feeling the need to check it, not feeling in those moments of boredom or whatever that the phone is a good option here.
Yeah, my son picked up, he got as a gift from somebody, a really nice gift. Shout out Andrew Barron. These the Ray-Ban glasses, the Meta Ray-Ban
Mhm.
glasses. So he can listen to music without, without having to pick up his phone and change anything. It's great. People call him. He doesn't need to pick up his phone. So it's kind of useful for him. He can bop around, make a lunch, take the dog for a walk.
Right.
So that's useful.
Yeah. Um, okay, so let's imagine someone who is in this bucket of like high screen use.
Wait, hi, hi.
Like,
Like they're super users of screens.
yes, they're like 6+ hours of social media, whatever, something like that, something crazy. And they want to make a change, but they're in this low confidence bucket. What are like a few habits that you would recommend trying or that you might like bring up for someone like
Okay.
this that are realistic?
So I won't work that way, right? Like, so it's not going to be, not that I won't work that way, but I wouldn't approach it in that way. Like, let's come up with habits. The data that we're seeing, because we've had everybody, people are completing the survey, we're finding, so we have ready and overwhelmed, the two types I was telling you about. The highest day for ready is Sunday. The highest times for ready during the weekdays are 5 to like 8 p.m. and a little bit 11 a.m. in the morning. And the highest times of overwhelm are afternoons, like early mid afternoons, late in the evening, and all day Friday. So, what I would say, let's say, without talking with them about like helping them find what their habits are, I'd say, like structurally, you want to sit down on yourself or with your partner on Sunday, kids, and come up with what are your goals or your ideas for the week? What experiments do you want to run? And probably run them between 5 to 8 p.m. during your highest kind of ready time, maybe mid-morning when you're feeling good, but in not try in the afternoon or late at night because you're going to be those are the overwhelmed times when you're feeling forgive yourself and maybe don't think about anything on forget about Fridays. So then you take a look and you say to someone like, what are the changes that you want to be making? You're highly motivated. Why? Right? Like, okay, so there's what are you running away from? You want to use your phone less because you're not, it doesn't, it's making you anxious, whatever. But what do you want to do with that time? Right? Do you want to be outdoors? You want to be with friends? Let's start thinking of then brainstorming what would get them to brainstorm because like, oh yeah, on my way home from work, there's a bookstore I'd be wanting to check in. That would make sense. That's like on my way home from work, instead of taking the subway, I could walk because it's sunny out. But if I live in Toronto, I can't do anything on my way home from work because it's too cold, right? So it's super contextual. Like, oh, my cousin actually works down the street. Maybe I'll go out for dinner with him. We'd be meaning to see each other for a while. So it's like, okay, let's brainstorm some ideas that are experiments, no pressure, not success or fail. Try them and let's see how it goes. Like, if you're successful, how did that feel? Great. Let's keep doing that. When you're starting to feel confident, maybe push it 10%, right? If it didn't work, that's cool. It's an experiment. It's not like a pass fail test. What did we learn from the experiment? What should we try differently next time? Right? Like, there you go. Like, I know that if I don't brush my teeth after dinner, I'm just going to like freaking start eating cookies like all night when they have to help make the kids lunch. But if I brush my teeth after dinner, nothing tastes good, so I won't. So, and if I lie to myself, then I'm eating handfuls of raisins for hours, So it's just, you got to figure out what works for someone in their life and slowly just start stacking these little things bit by bit. But because it's not a rule, like after dinner, put down your phone, go for a walk because that's what someone else said you have to do because you've internally created that idea and goal for yourself. There's a higher likelihood you're going to do it and be successful at.
Yeah, I think generally like trying to fill in, like not saying, oh, I'm going to not do this thing and leaving it at that. that's almost like a recipe for failure. Like it that almost never works. 'Cause then all you're ended you end up just having time where you're thinking about the thing that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, like, like, here's an example, right? Like, I said to someone the other day, they're like, they used to draw, or they've always wanted to, or they've wanted to learn how to draw, and they sit on the couch on Instagram for hours. So, okay, go buy yourself some nice pens. Go buy yourself some pens and some like notebooks that you might want to use one day, and leave them on on the table in front of the couch. And maybe when you're on your phone, if you're feeling like it, maybe just pick up one pencil and one and just draw something for 2 minutes and then just put it down and put it away. But then, like, after a week or two, you might be like finding that instead of just spending 2 minutes, you might be spending 10 minutes on a drawing session. And then after a month, you might find that you're going after your dessert or tea or whatever, you're going over to the couch and sitting for 30 minutes and drawing. And you're like all of a sudden on your second book, you know? You're like, wow, I didn't even realize it, but like I've developed a skill and I'm not missing the phone.
Yeah, I've found for myself that there are a lot of things, a lot of like hobbies or just little things like that, like drawing that are just, if not more rewarding than the phone. The only difference is there's like a delay. There's a little bit of a like learning curve where you have to kind of just get through that initial friction and then the reward comes after that. I think the biggest problem for people is that they just haven't gotten through that initial phase with whatever it is, or not in the recent past. And so the way that their brain is motivated is towards the thing that they know is going to give them the reward. And yeah, sometimes just having it there is enough to like, okay, I'll push through it
Oh,
once or I'll
excuse me.
try it this time. And then suddenly you're like, oh, this is cool. And you start doing it more and more.
Yeah, the dopamine hit of the phone is real, but it doesn't necessarily sorry. The dopamine, you don't get the same dopamine hit from drawing than you do when like something pops up in front of you and you laugh for a second. People are chasing that quickly.
Yeah. So changing directions a little bit, I am curious what your experience was becoming a father. Like, what's that been like for you?
It's awesome. Good times. My daughter's 18th birthday's today. No, taught her how to drive, taught them both how to ride bikes, you know, being married over 20 years now, 22 years. I don't even know anymore. It's awesome. I got a 15-year-old. I'm in his bedroom. There's like some deodorant back there, it's the real deal. I learn a lot from the kids. They force you to learn a lot about yourself. Being in a long-term relationship, raising kids, dealing with life, you learn a lot. I mean, ask specific questions. I'll give you the best answer I can.
How has having children or like the long term relationship, like you mentioned, how's that affected your work or your attitude towards work?
It's funny, right? Like, because I had that agency back, but I mean, we'd be working late hours, but they were little kids and, it was great. It worked for us. Now it's harder because I want to be working my guts out these days. I'm building a business. It's hard work, right? Like I could work all the time, but like kids need to play hockey, they need to play baseball, they need attention. So my wife is also starting a new career. So there's like, we've got the energy like when in our 20s and 30s. I certainly do. But, you have to spread your attention around and be mindful. I found the only way I can create more time in the day is getting up 2 hours earlier. So that's what I do.
So you kind of have to rein things in a little, not let yourself go too crazy in the work area.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, you got to produce for your family and working for yourself on your own terms. In my experience, is better than working for other people on their terms. So I'll probably be working the same if I was working for someone else. I might as well just do it for myself.
Right. What's something you're currently struggling with
In what area?
in life?
So I don't know if I'm like struggling. I'm struggling with, I don't know if I'm like really like struggling is a strong word. You know, we're entrepreneurs, we're taking risk on building a business, because we believe in what we're doing. And so, the sooner we get past certain milestones, the more comfortable it's going to be. So I guess there's that, but everyone's pretty okay. Everyone's everyone's doing okay. I'm honestly like I'm thankful to say that. I mean, I can always make wishes for things to be better, things that I want to improve on, but there's a lot of hardship out there and I'm really appreciative of what we got and what we're working for, and that's the truth. Feel fortunate, I guess, to say that I'm not struggling with very much.
What does your dream life look like?
Well, I mean, I like being outdoors. We like to spend time in Northern Ontario. So there's like a lakeside part of that experience, whether in the summer or the winter, in nature, proximity to family and healthy relationships there. I really want this business to be successful because I think it's a doorway to help an enormous amount of people, and not just people that want help with their phones, right? I mean, the gig economy is out there hurting people these days, right? And so, like a lot of therapists and coaches out there, if you can't get, you work for a gig platform, you get paid 30, 40, you get paid 40, 50 cents on the dollar. So we're trying to build a platform that gives people direct clients. So we get, if the platform's successful, there'll be thousands of independent professionals on our platform that are making a better living. So if this business is successful, we're going to help lots of people with their relationships with their devices and help lots of independent professionals, get a little closer to, the lifestyle that they want. To me, that's successful. And lots of music, like the biggest freaking stereo system you've ever seen. Like I want to have like just like the most grotesquely large, like floor standing speakers with like unbelievable power driving them with like incredible fidelity at low volume. So I can just like sit and let music wash over me forever.
Well, I hope you
That's
it's a
I think that's really, yeah, it's good.
hope you're able to realize that.
I hope so too.
Cool, man. Well, do you want to quickly just shout out your book and anything else that
Sure.
you'd like to tell
We'll
people
float
about?
you a bunch of links, but I mean, offline.now is our URL for our page. If you're a therapist, coach, or a social worker, come list on our site. It's free for 12 months. It's $200 a year after you list. So meant to be really cost effective. And if you're on our site, you can blog, you can promote your practice. We got a lot of cool things going on. We're actually inviting members of the community to contribute to the next version of the book. So I've got I'm getting proposals from all these people now who want to get in print, which is amazing. Um, yeah, that's the game plan. It's on Amazon, and yeah, that's what we're up to.
Well, thank you, Eli. I appreciate you for taking the time, and yeah, that's all we got.
Real pleasure to meet you, Will. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.